where they turn in the music. Like, hey, shut
Yeah.
the fuck up, you're talking too long. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they do it. They're like, hey, your speech, hurry it up. You know? All right, we're live.
Yeah. Part two.
We're live and nobody's watching.
But no, they will be watching though. People will be tuning into this.
Yeah.
So those of you that are watching, welcome to Behaviors Part 2. We're getting down. Robert was talking about how just, living in what you want and how that feels and how that starts to make the picture of you achieving it easier is huge. I even wanted to tap on that. I just started a job, just a regular basic job, and I haven't had a normal job in quite a while, like 5 years. And it's like, I was all about it. I was so excited to be there. Oh, this is new work, a paycheck, steady. You know what I mean? And then I got all my shit out of the pawn shop, all my shit out of storage. And now I'm like, and then Robert's, now I'm starting to get to the music thing again. I have a home. I can go to and work on this stuff. Oh, we 700 beats. You know what I mean? And now it's like, now I don't ever want to go back there now. So now that I've started making some beats and started taking the action towards what I want, which is stay at home and do this shit, now my mindset has, my whole being and inside me has completely changed from, oh my gosh, I love this job and I want to be here every day, to now, I want to be here every day. So it's 100%, when you start taking the actions in living and being who you want or what you want before you actually may physically have it, everything starts changes. Your whole body will change to get you there. People, events, circumstances will start coming in your life that's, will lead you down that path of what you want, and you'll want to be here. Just like that, it changed. I was so excited to go to work, and I'm tearing it up, and that's all I want to do. And now I'm like, now that I started making some beats, now we're doing this. You know what I mean? Now we're talking more music. This is what I want. This is starting to fill my soul again, just like that. Now I don't even want to go back to the job now, and that's all I wanted to do because it's been new and no. But now that I'm 100% again, this is where I want to be. It changes just like that when you start living it.
Yep.
That's a very good point.
So yeah, that's exactly where I'm headed with all my behaviors. Is I am choosing to live life on my terms. So that's where I've been for a few months now, and my behaviors dictate that. And I have been taking those actions to steer my life permanently in that direction. I know what's coming. I'm just patient. I'm putting in the work, whatever needs to happen to make it happen. But it starts with my behaviors, my actions, and my daily routine, and not, there's days that I steer away from it a little bit, whether it's family, other interruptions that come in, I won't say interruptions, but other commitments. But for the most part, my behaviors and my actions stay on point of where I'm going.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that, because you talk about living in life on your terms as it's almost like a no-brainer after you do it, but it's like, no shit, like, it's your one life. Why wouldn't you live it on your own fucking terms? This is one fucking roller coaster you get to do. Why would you fucking get off and go do the dumb shit that nobody wants to do and wait in line for the kiddie fucking pool? It's like, I have one time to do this. Why would I ever? in a million years not do it on my terms. You know, and once
Exactly.
you do, it just feels right. It's just like, fuck,
Oh,
finally, I've taken fucking control of this life that
yeah.
you have total control of. There's the steering wheel, and you're sitting like this looking at the steering wheel and going, oh, fuck, the car's going off the rails. Oh, shit. Just put your hands out, grab that motherfucker, and steer the car. You know what I
Yep.
mean? That's your life. That's the fucking, you know, metaphor
It's,
for your life. Grab the
um,
steering wheel and steer it. Instead, we're like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh no, the car's drifting into the bank. Oh, and it's like all you got to do is reach out and grab.
yep.
But we're so programmed to no, somebody else is gonna drive this bitch for you, and you're just gonna kind of like float like a bumper car, just kind of hitting the median, and just have you ever watched a woman like these old ladies driving and somehow she's not killing herself, but the car just keeps going and she's passed out in the car and like it just keeps like somehow not hitting anybody. And you're like, what the fuck? That's like you're just when you're
Yeah.
not grabbing the steering wheel, you're just hoping that that bitch don't fucking hit something, you know?
You know what's crazy, man, is like uh, I've scaled back on my business as far as me only working 3 days a week. That was like that wasn't even like in my vision, and I didn't even see that possible. But as I'm taking the actions and doing that in my behaviors, now it's like I'm looking at it like I have 3 days to really buckle down to achieve my goals and my dreams of where I'm going to eventually where these 3 days I won't have to do what I'm doing now. I'll be doing exactly what I love to do and what I want to do, even more on my terms. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it's uh, it's crazy. You know, I look back at shoot 2 years, 3 years, 5, 10 years ago when I had a full time career and people thought I was crazy when I left it. To be sitting in this amazing place right now, I feel so grateful to where I'm at right now. It's insane. Um, and that feeling of living life on my terms because it's 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 crazy. I don't even know how to explain it. You know?
It's so funny because it is exactly that. It's you chose to do what you're doing. You said 3 days a week, meaning you finally made a fucking decision to
Exactly.
do what it is that you are passionate about and what you see yourself being. Otherwise, you have committed, if you've committed more time to just living and working a regular job and all your time's in that, you are whatever your behaviors are. And if your
Yeah.
behaviors are every day I work this job and after I'm done I have this much time left and now I'm gonna go fucking sleep. And I might have enough time to go to dinner with my friends or have a beer. Other than that, I gotta mow the lawn. You know, and guess what? You've chosen to live fucking the Al Bundy regular fucking life as a shooter.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like that's what you choose to do. For instance, now I did the same thing. Whereas like I work a job, I'm like, okay, I've got to at least cover my nut, which is the bills. So I got to have this job, and it's like, okay, but now if that's all you're doing, that's all you're fucking doing, and then you find yourself check to check, never really getting ahead,
Yeah.
and you just get a bigger job and a better job, and you move up in a company, and then it's like still check to check, but you're never really your growth is just small increments. And it's like now, like say the COVID thing for me, I'm like, you know what? Comfortable and peace of mind would be to immediately go get another fucking job, work as a boss somewhere because that's my capacity as leadership. You know what I mean? And it's like, and then what? Now you have all your time dedicated to that fucking specific thing and you become that specific thing. So if that's what you want to do, cool. You're now a store manager, district manager of some bullshit company. They don't give a fuck about you. Uh, and that's what you exist in. That's who you are because your behaviors are every day I go to work and I'm a slave for this company and that's my behavior. So now that's who I am. Or do you stop and say, look, there may be some friction and some fucking stumbling in the transition. and do what the fuck you were meant to do or you really want to do. Focus on it. And honestly, my thing is the only way it fails is if I sit there and go, I'm doing what I want to do, but I don't actually do the behaviors of that person doing that thing, giving myself the best chance to transition into what I'm trying to do so I never have to go back to the thing I'm not trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have to fucking do that every day. Like last night, I couldn't sleep all fucking night. And I'm like, man, maybe today I just throw in the towel and and get some sleep. You know, because it's fucking 6 and 7:30 is coming real close, and I got to get up, get in the car, and dip out. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Set the clock for 7:30. You get an hour and a half sleep. Merry Christmas. You're lucky, bitch. You got an hour and a half sleep. Now go. And you're gonna execute everything you plan to do today. Fuck sleep, and make it happen. And sure shit, I did. You know what I did to offset? I drank a fuck ton of water. I ate good, and I'm fine. You know, so here I am at 11:20. So basically, you know, whatever that is, I woke up at 12 o'clock. So 24 hours later, uh, you know, because I woke up at 12:15, and I didn't go to bed until fucking 6 o'clock. Woke back up at 7:30, or actually, I actually woke up at 6. But it or went to bed at 6, woke up at fucking 7, and then said, "Well, you got a half hour." Kind of laid around and said, "Fuck it, let's just go." And thought for sure I'd bog down today. But my thing is, it's you choose to do whatever the fuck it is you want to do, and if your choice is to be safe, Merry Christmas. You now have a safe life. And that's check to check. Just teetering on trouble. One car breakdown. One medical visit. To fucking completely crumble your shit. You have to literally commit to whatever the behaviors are of something you want that's grander. This dream. And do those behaviors. I mean, vigorously. Harder than you would have to do if you were in the position. You have to do them harder. And that's what I'm doing. What would I be doing? I would be baking beats every day. I'd be fucking all my shit. Boom, 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 boom. I'd be fucking editing. I'd be doing this. Well, man, let's do that. Because anything other than that means you get to go back to fucking basics. You know what I mean? So, what does that look like?
Yeah, and I think for anybody that's watching and tuning in and like, well, how can you do that? I think you have to find what you love to do.
Jump.
If you don't, just jump and do it.
And it's scary.
But the more you love what you're doing, the more chances are that you're going to be able to uphold those tough times, those no sleep, that doubts that come in your head.
Jump.
There's not an easy way. Just do it.
And that's easier said than done. But the only thing stopping you from doing that jump is your brain.
Yeah.
Because your brain doesn't want to let your brain doesn't want to let your heart drive. It says, no, you don't know how to drive. Heart, let me control this. Well, your brain's gotten you what you've gotten so far, which is shit. Check to check. That's what your brain's gotten you. Maybe you should let your heart drive a little bit. But let your brain help. Don't jump and then not fucking do anything about it.
When I left my career that I put in a lot of years into it, I could have probably retired here in about 3 years, to put it in perspective. When I left that, I just jumped and I went for it. And I tumbled and I fell, and eventually I just kind of like spread my wings and I started flying. And that's where I'm at right now in life. It was crazy. But it started with that step of just jumping and going. But it was very difficult. It was very difficult to get out of it because I had a retirement. I was going to, I had insurance. I had all this time invested. It's like, man, what if I leave it? If I fail, I just jump and just did it. At the time it wasn't easy.
I think,
but it was a choice.
I think for us, the one thing that aligns between all three of us is just fuck up after fuck up after fuck up after fuck up. I mean, really like stumbling, like you said, that like resonated with me, like to ultimately that's so needed, right?
Yeah.
Finally being locked into what the fuck you're trying to do. But it takes jumping and not knowing. It takes just going, fuck it, man. And you know what? The people that stay in their job and then eventually, the people that stay in their job and eventually, have their retirement and do that. And guess what? Roberto Garibay worked at the Forest Service 47 years, and here he lies in the grave. Wow, your life you experienced being a guy doing basic shit, and no fucking knock to that. But I mean, it's your one life to live, and that's what you chose to do. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
No knock to that, but you had one life, and you chose to go to work every day, chop a fucking tree, walk up a trail, fix the fucking brick on the fucking trail, fix the railing, go burn down or light or put some water on a fire. I mean,
It wasn't anything that I ever dreamed. Like, it wasn't any of my dreams. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't what I wanted for my life. It was just a way to feed my family. It was comfort. It put food on the table, and it was financially, it was stable, and that was it.
but then again, this is your one try. If somebody would have
Yeah.
started you out in life and said, "Look, there are 17 roller coasters here. Pick one, and that's the only one you're gonna ride."
Yeah.
Would you pick the little kitty fucking teacup ride that spins in circles and goes,
Yeah.
or would you go
And
fuck
trust me,
Magic Mountain with it? No, fuck.
and,
Let's go for that one.
exactly.
This is one ride you ever get to ride, and you're never getting off.
Yeah. And what's crazy, man, now I see some of these guys that have been in there and on their way to retirement, and I know what they're going through. It's the same. It's the same shit.
Went to the Forest Service, and now you sit around and look at your fat wife. I mean, no, not that. I'm just saying, like that's fucking what you exist as. You know what I mean? Like there's your fucking life, and it sums it up. I worked. I was cool in football in high school, and then I worked at the Forest Service, and then had a couple kids. That's amazing. And then after that, I retired, and I fucking did my gardening in the backyard, and every once in a while we would go out to dinner, and then I died. So that's the roller coaster you chose for your whole fucking one chance at life. I say fuck that. You know what I mean? For me. For
No,
everyone
and
else, whatever.
and I'm on the same boat, man. Like, that's not for me. And it's, and then I've always had this internal weird thing. It's like, I'm done. I'm over it.
Yeah, I can't. And there's a
And just choosing to move on and finding something else and experiment and trying new things. Exactly.
Yeah, I have this burning desire, and I cannot put it out. Nothing could stop it. Kids, wife, nothing could stop it. Stressful jobs as a boss and blah blah blah. None of that shit can stop it. Like, I know what the fuck I'm trying to do, and this is the 6-year-old boy trying to achieve this. The 6-year-old boy got older, but he still has a goal, and this 42-year-old boy needs to fucking finish that. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. I mean, I'm really in tune with my 6-year-old self. And it's like that's the same thing as like when my kids talk that shit, dude. I'm like, dude, fuck yeah, you got it. You are there. I explained to my kid the other day how he's at genius level. And a kid at that age is at genius level. Imagine you're learning motor skills, how to talk, what things are. Everything's new to him. If I said a rhododendron, he'd be like, "What in the fuck is that?" What's a flower? Flux capacitor. He would have no fucking clue what that is. In fact, 99% of Americans don't know because I've been telling them that. They're like, "My car's broken." I'm like, "It's the flux capacitor." I'm like, "Oh, I better go get that checked out." The thing is, and if their car has it, they could travel through time, and that'd be pretty cool. But my thing is, you're you're at genius level at that age, and really, there is no barrier. You haven't been daunted by the careful fear, and I am that parent too, putting fear on the kids. Don't do it. Jordy just got a knife and cut his fucking hand right open, and I mean deep as fuck. Like stitches type shit. You know, decided to get a pocket knife and cut himself. How he found the one pocket knife in the whole house because I don't even have them because I cut myself. But you know, that's the thing. That's the thing is like this is my 6-year-old self trying to achieve that Hot Wheel car collection of the fucking you know, Ferrari Testarossas and Lamborghini Countaches and fucking Diablos, and trying to figure that out and put that in my garage. Like still going. I'm going to achieve that. The monster trucks, the things like that, and going fuck, man. I just because when do you all of a sudden have this thing where like that no longer is your dream anymore? Like now I'm older and I do think that, just weed the backyard and, go to work and come back. Fuck that. You know what I mean? I mean, if there's other people on this earth that aren't living that and doing what they want to do, I mean, take your fucking stab at it. It's like a lot of people they just say fuck it, instead of following through with their original thing. Again, the lies to yourself. If you broke a promise to yourself at 6 years old, that follows through. I have not broken the promise to myself at 6 years old. I have not broken my promise to myself till this fucking very day. I have not broken that promise that I will fucking achieve. You know what I mean? I have not broken that promise to myself. That's one thing I can say is I haven't broken my promises to myself, and that I stick with it. There's never been a time where I go look at myself like, yeah, the 6-year-old portion of yourself was a stupid ass. There's no way you're going to become the president. No, not at all. I will do exactly what I set out to do at 6. Again, like Gary Vee says so well, it's the long game. Why are you judging yourself based off of how much time has gone past in a short period of time? If you're gonna live to 100, well, fuck, man, game's not over. We got 4 more quarters. You know what I mean? What are you talking about? You got 4 more quarters. Why are you judging yourself based on what you did in the first half? You know what I mean? Pretending there's 8 quarters in this game. You know what I mean? But the thing is, we got all this time. Why would you just call it quits and say, nah? Because realistically, the alternative to be like, yeah, being a clerk at the fucking 7-Eleven and checking out somebody's yoo-hoo and a fucking burrito out of the little hot fucking room, that's life. Oh, you want 15 on 3? Okay. Did you want a receipt with that? That's the end of your life. Like, no. You know what I mean? Why would you say that that's more suitable to you than anything else? For me, don't break the promise. Fucking do the behaviors on what you want, and watch the shit start to come to you. Because it's coming fast as fuck.
This is so important. This is so important for you people tuning in, man. To just kind of soak it all in. Nobody's putting down what type of job you have. It's a regular job. None of that. Just, be open to what you want. You know what I mean? And don't be scared to go for it. Don't be caught. Don't let the how are you going to do it stop you from even starting. When the how is completely irrelevant anyways. But we'll get on to that's another subject. But most people don't even know what they want, And that's a scary thing because we see people all the time, they have no clue, a lot of them, of what they want. And if they do know what they want, they're normally thinking about the lack of having it. So that way, or they're so concentrated on how they're going to get, I have to do this, how am I going to do that, how am I going to do that? And then there's so much that they don't even start. when none of that matters, because as soon as you start, something else is going to change, so you just, man, you have to somehow find it within yourself to know that you are worthy of at least trying.
Yeah. What's crazy is in my journey, Will, is as I've started up this trail thing, having an idea of where I was going, as I was started up this trail, I came to other trails and I said, well, I'm going to take a right here and and that was my choice. And it led me to something else. And then that trail and so on and so on. You know what I'm saying? So just starting up that trail is the process, man. Just taking action and doing it.
I think it's important to do, like Will said, it's like, it's a tough thing and it's almost uncomfortable for someone to ask you, well, what is it you really want? And how does it make you feel? And all this other shit. Because if you don't do that, you'll never know. Because a lot of people don't even ask themselves that. They never figure out what it is they really want. And they just go through the motions and then they die. And there's that.
You need to understand too that, you have to try, because guess what? Sometimes it's not going to work out.
It's true.
And it might lead to something else. So, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. So yes, it might not work out as planned, but you will still always learn something, discover that, hey, I went down this road and thank God I realized it isn't what I want. Because sometimes when you make these decisions and these leaps, it leads to, it's your decisions are always a success. Even if they don't work out how you wanted to, because you will still at least find out what you didn't want and what you didn't know before. And might lead you down, well, now I know this is what I want, but just trying is huge, and going for it and jumping off the cliff in the smart manner, I would say, in the smart manner, but just doing it, because yes, you might get what you don't want, but that is still a success. That is still a success, is realizing this isn't what I want. So why be scared to try? Failing is still a success.
You're still learning. You're still learning in that process, and you're still, gathering this information to make your decisions to adapt.
I think a good example is Will jumped off a cliff at one point and said, "Fuck it, I have a good job, a decent job." He jumps off the cliff and says, "Fuck it, I'm going to start a recording studio and do whatever." Chose later on that that's not what he wanted, whatever. But my thing is where the behavior part comes in. When you were in that position, did you, I'm saying, my point is this, what I'm about to say, is that you are the reason things don't happen. Not that the dream is too big. It's that if you don't have your behaviors align with what the fuck you're trying to do, then that's what happens. So you jump off, you go, I'm going to start a fucking recording studio. Well, what would the person's behaviors look like who had a recording studio? Well, they'd be out marketing and getting customers to come into the studio at a fucking enough of a rate to fill the whole fucking 8, 9, 10 hour days, to pay the rent for the studios and eventually pay yourself a little salaries and be able to afford to live your life. If you don't do those behaviors, then yeah, the dream didn't fail because the dream was stupid. You shouldn't have jumped off. It's because you didn't do the behaviors. That's where I'm at with the thing is I now have this time and I go, well, I need to apply the behaviors, and if my behaviors align with what the work would have looked like if I was doing that job. Say I quit my job and started doing a studio. If I just sat there, well, fuck yeah, I don't have a boss, and I didn't do shit. Well, yeah, that studio idea would fucking fail. But if I was out on the street handing out flyers, putting Craigslist ads in, hitting up fucking people on Instagram for my local area, saying, hey, I got a studio downtown right across from fucking Kingdom or whatever the fuck that thing's called. Uh, blah blah blah. I'm reduced pays $15 an hour. Blah blah blah. Come and get yourself recorded. What would the behaviors look like, but to somebody that was actually doing that? And are you doing that? If you're not, it's probably going to fail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I wanted to start my own tree company and I didn't go out and actually advertise and cut a tree, it would probably fucking fail. But I'd be like, what does a tree guy do? I guess he gets out there and he starts chopping fucking trees down. You know what I mean? So how do I get trees chopped? Well, I guess I got to market it. I guess I got to fucking let people know about me. I guess I got to get door hangers made, go to all the doors, hang them, start hitting them people, cold calling them and saying, hey, I have this service I'm offering. If you're not doing that, chances are your tree service is going to fail.
And one of the things, man, like as I jumped and I stumbled and I was grabbing for shit as I was falling or trying to find out how to fly, is the times that my intentions were clear on where I was going and how I was going to do it and where I was going to, where I was headed, is when I was able to focus, buckle down, and figure out a way to do it. When my intentions weren't clear, for example, I moved to Portland, I got a $13 an hour job. My intentions weren't clear. I was just floating, right? Just trying to figure life out at that point, just figuring it out. And after a bunch of shit happened, I regathered myself. My intentions were clear on where I was going and how I was going to get it. And that's how I made shit happen. That's how I started my business. And from there on, as I've evolved into where I am now, my intention, that's one of the things, is I make sure my intentions are clear where I'm going and how I'm going to get there. And I align my behaviors with that.
But
that's how I've succeeded. It takes a lot.
There's a lot to be said, though, about where you were at. Not at all knocking it, but, where you're at now, or not now, but where you had to be to get that done. When your back's against the wall, you fucking had no choice, boy. You had to get it done.
My bridges were burnt. My ships were burnt. It was fight or flight. Like I had to go. It's go time.
But see, that's not dream. It's the dream part. And the biggest thing I tip my hat to is when everything's comfortable for you and you have that perfect job and you have that perfect fucking everything going for you and you're comfortable just to be basic, and then you jump. That's the real jump. Having your back against the wall, man, you have no other choice but to get it.
Yeah, but having my back against the wall, it was what, like Will was saying, I didn't really fail. I still learned because I was able to find that intention, right? Making my intention is clear.
You have to.
That's what I'm saying. But without that, my back being against the wall, I would never have discovered that within myself, is what I'm getting at.
But you didn't discover your dream. You didn't discover your dream, is my point.
No, my dream came later on. My dreams only came like a year ago.
And that's my point, is you had to do what you had to do to survive and turn it into a business. It's having the business already and then being willing to cut it off and jump again. Because you didn't jump when you're fucking screwed and you're fucked yourself, and the only option for you is to go do these things and start your own business.
No, I understand that. I guess in the process of that, where I was getting at is I found a way to find my intention is set and clear moving forward. You know what I'm saying? That's the diamond that I found within that struggle. You know what I'm saying? That's where I was like, oh, for me to head in that direction, and it's only transpired over the last couple of years as I've evolved, but my intentions have to be clear. And I have to commit to it. My behaviors align with that. But none of that would have came to light if I wouldn't have gone through it. And that was just that little nugget that came out of that situation, which was crazy.
It is difficult to see it. It's difficult to see it because, I jumped off the cliff and found out it wasn't what I wanted to do. But by jumping off the cliff, you know, and doing what I did, it made me realize what I really wanted. And hence I'm officially an author and have a book published because I really wanted to do writing. And I thought music would lead me to the place to open up the doors for this and that. So I was taking extreme measures and all that, leading to what I really didn't want. But it did, in a way, it did, because I finished my first book and realized, no, I don't have to do music to write. I can just go write. So the point here is clearly defining what you want, because you think you might want this, but really what I wanted is just to write. But it took these things and leading down this recording studio thing that brought me to that point, like, no, this isn't what I want. But it led to me finishing my first book. That's what I really wanted, So you have to, but sometimes, that's why taking action is so important, because you can clearly define what you want, and then you take some sort of action and things will change. But you have to try. You have to try, but clearly defining what you want helps in being able to stay in that zone of doing what you really want, But I happened to discover it through, taking other risks and leaps and what I'm wanting to do as well.
Yeah, but I commend you for even taking that step, and where a lot of people in this world would not ever have taken that jump. Because just think about it, I'm leaving my job to follow my dream.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm doing. But to the normal person out there, to society, it's like, you're crazy.
Everyone.
How are you going to survive? How are you going to feed yourself? How are you going to do this? The how doesn't matter. As it doesn't matter.
It's completely irrelevant. And here's why. Because we can only see, our brains are only this big. Our radar screens, what we can see happening is this big. But what we don't know is everything that's going on outside of our radar screen, moving mountains to bring to you what you want. You can't see it. That's why when you're going down the path and you're like, oh, I didn't see that I was going to have this conversation with this person, and now that led me down to exactly what I want to do. But I didn't see that. You can't, because we're not smart enough to know the how. No. This is a major, and listen, that
frozen.
I think it just will. Is it just will, or is it?
Just will, because I can see you.
Man, well, Libby's able to get back on there, but it's true though.
Oh, it's totally true. It's the how is not something you can ever figure out. You know what I mean?
No.
You just have to do what you know how to do.
Yeah.
And eventually everything else will figure itself out. The how to me has always crippled me in everything I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
To the point that it's like I've been crippled by it. I literally, the how has fucked me up to where it doesn't work out for me,
No, I've sat there and just spun my wheels like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Versus just taking that first step and trying, or, and going down that path. I just, and then eventually you think about it so much, it creates doubt. And then some things I've just never done, It's like, that's impossible. I guess at that point, you just kind of slide it to the side, move on with my happy lower life. And that was just another dream or thing that I wanted to accomplish and never got done because I was too worried on the how. And that's in itself is a behavior too. It's a program. It's the way we're operated. But that just takes with knowing yourself and and grown, you know, failing and learning from it. And there's really not failing, but just more learning from the things that you're trying in life.
Right.
I'm hoping Willis can get back on here.
No, I don't know. I'm right now. I'm working on doing a 2-screen version because, like, now that he's off, it fucks up the 3 panels and turns it into like, you know, your head's only seen from here up, and I got another version of me plus the camera version of me. Yeah, it fucks everything up, but whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do 2-screen version, so it's got set up for 2 people, then it's got it set up for 1 as well.
So what do you think? You're gonna call it and come back for next week for the next one, or what do you want to do?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Are we still live or no?